Hi, I'm David Buckland and welcome to this week's video Insight. Today I'm being accompanied by Dominic Rose. Dominic, as many of you know, is the Portfolio Manager for the Montgomery Small Companies Fund. Dominic, today I thought we'd talk about a conglomerate which the Montgomery Small Companies Fund has a serious ownership in, and that's Seven Group Holdings, SVW, the ASX code. It's developed into a very, very successful conglomerate alongside the groups like Wesfarmers and Washington H. Soul Pattinson. Stokes clearly controls close to 60% of it, and it's had a very, very sort of exciting run in recent years.
Yeah, thanks, Bucko. So Seven Group Holdings is a really good example of a founder-led company. In small caps, we really do love to uncover founder-led businesses because of the strong economic alignment that management have. And with the Stokes family controlling, as you mentioned, just under 60% of this company, there really is that strong alignment. And we think that as minority investors, that it's a really important factor to invest alongside.
And one thing that we've been able to observe, particularly in the industrial services sector of their portfolio, and I guess also the energy part of their portfolio, they've been incredible counter-cyclical investors, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's a lot of short-termism that creeps into markets and companies with the alignment, I suppose, that CEOs and management teams have on focusing on delivering short-term outcomes. But the nice thing about Seven Group, being that founder-led business, this family invests over the very, very long term, and so that it gives them the ability to make longer-term investment decisions and take a counter-cyclical approach often. And a great example of that is Boral. They've recently bought just over 70% of Boral, and they bought it at a time when the cycle was against that company and the shares were trading quite depressed levels, but Seven Group saw an opportunity to improve that business and took a different view from the market and ended up being quite a strategic investment for them. And
I noticed the price increases of some of the Boral commodities and the volume increases in fiscal 23 have been roughly sort of low double digits in many cases.
Yeah, look, that's right. Look, we are in an inflationary environment, and so I think it's very important for these industrial companies to be able to pass on the cost pressures that they're facing in their businesses through price. And one of the reasons Seven Group got invested into Boral was that they had spotted that Boral had a market-leading position, but they weren't being as disciplined on price as they perhaps could have been. So Seven Group bought the stake, and they changed out management, and part of the focus to improve the margins of that business is really focused on not racing to the bottom to drive volumes through cutting price, but importantly showing leadership in price and really utilising that strong market position that Boral enjoys.
And businesses like Coates and more particularly Westtrack, they actually seem to be doing superbly well at the moment.
Yeah, look, both Westtrack and Coates have very strong fundamentals of market dynamics at the moment. So Westtrack, just to recap, this is the Caterpillar dealership in Western Australia and New South Wales that Seven Group 100% owns. And that business is really driven by commodities, but commodity volumes, not commodity prices.
Yes.
And so their clients are the big iron ore miners and increasingly the lithium miners in Australia. And that is a business that is really underpinned by volumes of earth moved, not so much commodity prices, which obviously can be a bit more volatile. And that's got very strong tailwinds, particularly as the big mining companies have these replacement ton projects, which are really just about staying still. And the nice thing about Westtrack's business is not just the new capital sales that come through, but also this growing car park. They are leveraged to the parts and services, and that really grows as the fleet of equipment grows, but also as the age of equipment gets older. And then, of course, Coates is another business that is a leading player in equipment hire. They've got about 25% market share. And there's another example of Seven Group. They recycle capital out of their portfolio to buy the other half of Coates some years ago now. And they've really focused on improving the operating disciplines of that business. It's got about 25% market share, so it's a strong market position, but it's really around returns on asset and proper pricing. And so that is driven by or the tailwinds for that business are very much around infrastructure projects, and the outlook for that is obviously very robust over the medium term.
And many viewers may remember Seven Group Holdings as being a media company, but my understanding now is that media makes up maybe 3 or 4% of their EBIT and virtually nothing of their valuation. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, that's right. Look, it's not to be confused with Seven West Media, which is a listed company, which is the TV station. And so the Stokes family have long been involved in that. Seven Group has a 40% share of that, but you're right, it's less than 1% of the valuation, and hardly makes its way into the presentations of Seven Group Holdings. It is absolutely not a focus. The focus of the business is in the industrial segments. And energy.
And energy.
Yeah.
So it would be fair to say that the Stokes family have been incredibly disciplined in allocating capital, and that's why it's been a very, very successful conglomerate.
Yeah, look, I think that is key. The Stokes family behave like owners because they are owners, and they take that longer term view, and importantly, they've been attracted to investments where they can exert their influence and drive operating improvements. So it's very much around spotting businesses that have strong market positions but may not be firing, and going away and enacting change and just and sort of improving the disciplines of those businesses, and then driving that shareholder value.
Thanks, Dominic. That's all we have time for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Please continue to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And Dominic, thanks so much for that little rundown on Seven Group Holdings.
Pleasure. Thank you.